Welcome again to another session on the logarithm that I started with you in the previous videos. In the previous videos, we started learning about logarithm where we started from the basics and we looked at the definition of logarithm and we went ahead to look at the laws that governs logarithm, and we've proved each of those laws and we've done a detailed explanation on them. And also we looked at some basic properties that governs logarithm as well, and we've applied all this knowledge to solve many questions in the previous videos, and I hope you understood it and you enjoyed the lesson as well. So in this video, I want us to look at another aspect of the logarithm, and which is equations involving logarithm. As you can see from the board, I've written equations involving logarithm. So that is what I want to teach you in this video, and I will encourage you to do well to watch the previous videos because the previous videos lays the foundation. There are a lot of things that we've learned in the previous videos that we are going to apply here, especially the laws of logarithm that we've learned. So if you don't have any knowledge on logarithm and its laws, then you might struggle with this session because we are just going to apply the knowledge of the logarithm that we've gotten in the previous videos here. Okay, so please do well to watch the previous videos in case you don't have any knowledge on logarithm and its laws. And please don't forget to like the videos and also share them after watching. And if you are watching for the first time, please do well to follow the page and also subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at the question that I have on the board. I have one example on the board that I want to solve with you, and it's on the equations involving logarithm. Okay, now before we come to the question, when we speak of equations involving logarithm, it simply means that we have an equation that contains logarithm. So just as when you have any given equation, there's an unknown variable inside that you are supposed to solve for that variable, it's the same thing. So in this case, I have s to be the variable that we are going to solve for, but it contains logarithm, okay, and that is equations involving logarithm. So we are just going to solve for the value of s in the equation given. So let's take a look at the equation that I have on the board. So it says that solve log s squared plus 1 to the base 10 minus 2 log s to the base 10 equals to 1. So we are going to solve for the value of s. Solving for the value of s in any given equation or solving for any variable in a given equation simply means that you have to make that variable stand alone. So in this case, the variable that we are supposed to solve for is s. So we are just going to make s stand alone in the equation, and that will give us the value of s, and that is we solving the equation. I hope you understand up to this point. So let's go ahead and solve it together. So let me write my solution and let me write the question down. So I have log s squared plus 1 to the base 10 minus 2 log s to the base 10 equals to 1, and we have to solve for the value of s. Don't forget, we are going to apply the laws of logarithm that we've learned in the previous videos. Okay, now looking at the equation, the first thing to do is to apply the power rule or power law of logarithm that we learned in the previous videos. Now, just for the sake of those who don't have any idea of the laws of logarithm, I'm just going to do a quick recap on them so that we can apply it to solve the question. Okay, and also to serve as a reminder to you. So let's go ahead and let me do a quick recap on the power rule, because that's the first thing that you are supposed to apply here. The power rule says that if I have, let's say, a log b, the power rule says that if I have any number or variable in front of the log, we can shift that variable or number to become a power to whatever value or variable which is in front of the log. Okay, so what it means is that the a here can simply move and become a power to the b here. So this I can write it as log b to the power a. That is the power rule or law that we learned in the previous videos. So if I have s log y, the law says that the s here, which is a coefficient to the log, can move and become a power to the y, which is here. So I'll write it as log y to the power s. So if I have 3 log 2, I can rewrite it so that the 3 here will move and become a power to the 2 here. So it's going to be log 2 to the power 3. That is the power rule or law that we learned. So we are going to apply that to move this 2 here to become a power to the s here. I hope you understand up to this point. So let me clean this from here and let's proceed and solve the question. So I'm just going to repeat whatever I have here. I'm going to repeat my log s squared plus 1 to the base 10, then bring the minus sign, then these two will move and become a power to the s, which is here, as I've explained. So we are going to have log s to the power 2 to the base 10 equals to 1. So that is the first step, and I hope you understand and you agree with me up to this point. All that we did is to apply the power rule to move the coefficient of the log here, which is a 2, so that it will come and become a power to this s. Okay, so that's what we did. Now the next step is to apply the quotient rule or law. Why? Because I'm seeing a negative sign here, subtraction. I've explained to you in the previous videos that anytime you see subtraction, it means that we are to apply the quotient rule. So let me just do a quick recap on the quotient rule so that we apply it to this. The quotient rule says that if I have, let's say, log a minus log b. Now, I didn't bring the base 10 because I've explained to you that if there's no specified base there, it means that the base is always 10. I've explained that. Okay, so you should know that the base here is 10. If there's no specified base, it means the base is 10. So the law says that having log a minus log b, and you can see that it's subtraction that we have here. Immediately we see subtraction, it means we can express it as division. That is the quotient rule or law. So the law says that just write your log, then you divide the variables or the numbers. So this one we are dealing with variables, which is a and b. So the a becomes your numerator over the b, which becomes your denominator, and that is the quotient rule. I hope you understand. If I have, let's say, log s minus log y, the rule says that immediately you see a subtraction sign like this, we can express it in division form. So just write your log, then the s will become your numerator over the y, that becomes your denominator. Okay, the last one, if I have log 3 minus log 2, I can easily express it in division form, which is going to be the log of 3 over 2. As simple as this. So that is what we are going to apply to this and this, okay, to express it in division form. That is the quotient rule. So let me clean this from here and let's proceed and apply it to the question that we have. So I'm going to write my log. So I have log to the base 10. Okay, then I will divide this and this. Okay, so I'll have in a bracket, the first value will come to become a numerator, so s squared plus 1 over the second value, which is the s squared. I hope you understand and you agree with me up to this point. Then bring your equal sign and bring your 1, which is here. Okay, let me go over one more time. So from here, all that we did is to apply the quotient rule that I just explained to you. The quotient rule says that immediately we see a subtraction sign like this, we can express it in division form. So all that we need to do is to repeat your log, which I've done here. Then the first value becomes your numerator over the second value becomes your denominator. So the first value is s squared plus 1, which is my numerator here, divided by the second value, which is the s squared, which becomes my denominator here, equals to the 1. So that is the quotient rule that we just applied to this, and I hope you understand up to this point. Now, the next step is that the one that we have here, we need to express it in another form. We are going to express the one in a form in which it will contain log. Okay, because in the previous videos we learned about some properties of logarithm, and one of those properties is that the log of any number to the base of that same number is always equal to 1. I'm going to repeat it one more time. The log of any number to the base of that same number is always equal to 1. Let me illustrate it on the board for you to understand. So let's say I have 3 on the board. The property is saying that when I take the log of the 3 to the base of that same 3, it should be equal to 1. That is the property. The log of any number to the base of that same number is always equal to 1. So if I have 2 on the board and I take the log of the 2 to the base of that same 2, it should be equal to 1. So if I have the log of s to the base s, it should be equal to 1 in that order. So if I have the log of 10 to the base 10, it should be equal to 1. So that is the property that you are going to apply to write this one in a form that it will contain log. That is the next step. So when I see 1 here, in place of the 1, I'm going to put log 10 to the base 10 there. I hope you understand up to this point. In case you are wondering why not use this one, this or this, we cannot use any of this except this one because we are dealing with base 10. Look at the question. The question is in base 10. So it means you are supposed to use this and not any of this. We can't use any of this except this one. Again, the reason why I'm using this one is because we are working in base 10. If we were to be working in base 3, then I would have used this one. If we were to be working in base 2, I would have used this one. Because we are working with base 10, that's why I'm using this and not any of this. I hope you understand up to this point. So let's go ahead. I'm going to clean this from here so that we can solve further. So I'm just going to repeat what I have here, which is my log of s squared plus 1 over s squared to the base 10 in a bracket equals, then this one, as I've explained, I'm going to write it in a form that it will contain log, and that is going to be the log of 10 to the base 10, because the log of 10 to the base 10 is equal to 1. So in place of 1, I can put this there. I hope you understand. Now, the next step is to now get rid of the log inside so that we can proceed and solve further for the value of the s. We are solving for s inside this equation. You can see that I have log here and also another log here. So the only way to proceed is to get rid of the log inside. How do I do that? We can only do that by taking anti-log of both sides. Okay, again, we can only get rid of the log inside by taking anti-log of both sides. So when I take anti-log of both sides, the log here and the log here will disappear so that I can have what is left and work with it. I hope you understand. So let me write it on the board. So we are going to now taking anti-log of both sides. Okay, anti-log of both sides. So when I take anti-log of both sides, as I've explained, the log here will disappear, the log here also will disappear. So I'm going to have left, let me continue from here. So I'm going to have left s squared plus 1 over the s squared equals, what I'll be left here is the 10. I hope you understand and you agree with me up to this point. Let me just go over one more time. So from here, to proceed and solve further, we need to get rid of the log because there's log here, there's also log here. How to achieve that is to take anti-log of both sides, and that's what we did. So immediately we take anti-log of both sides, the log here will be out of it and also the log here will be out of it. So we are left with s squared plus 1 over s squared equals the 10 which is here, and that's what I've written here. So from here, let's proceed and solve further. So what we can do from here is to just make this 1 over 1 so that we can cross multiply, because 10 over 1 is the same as 10. So if I make here over 1, for it to also look like a fraction so that we can just cross multiply. So from here, we are going to do a cross multiplication. So I'm going to have s squared times the 10 here is going to give me 10s squared equals the s squared plus 1 times the 1 here is going to give me s squared plus 1. I hope you understand and you agree with me. So now let's proceed and solve further. Let's just group like things. So my 10s squared is here, and this s squared will cross the equal sign to come and join it. So it becomes minus s squared. Don't forget, when anything crosses the equal sign, the sign it has changes to the opposite. We've learned this under linear equation. Okay, so equals to my 1 which is there, and I hope you understand. Let's simplify. 10s squared minus s squared gives 9s squared equals to 1. So the next step is that I'm going to divide here by 9, here also by 9, so that this 9 and this 9 will cancel away. So I have my s squared equals to 1 over 9. We are not done. The question says we should solve for s. We are solving for s, not s squared. So you can see we have s squared here. So if you leave it like this, you are not done and you are wrong. So we need to proceed further and solve for s, meaning that anything which is attached to s needs to be eliminated. We have to move it away. So we can see that we have power 2 here. So we need to get rid of that power 2. How do we do that? We simply need to take square root of both sides. Okay, so from here, I'm just going to take square root of both sides. Taking square root of this side and also taking the square root of this side will get rid of the power 2, so that this square root sign will cancel the power 2 away. So I'm left with my s equals to 1 over the square root of 1 over 9. I hope you understand and you agree with me. Now, the square root of 1 over 9, we've done said, I've taught you said in the previous videos. Okay, simply, it's going to be, the square root will affect the 1 here. So square root of 1 is 1. So 1 over the square root of 9 is 3. So I'm going to have 1 over 3. Now it's going to be plus or minus 1 over 3, okay, because you know that when you take the square root of any number, you get a positive and negative value at the same time. So square root of 1 over 9 is going to be plus or minus 1 over 3, which means s equals to positive 1 over 3 or negative 1 over 3. So that's why I have plus or minus 1 over 3 there. So this is the solution to the equation that I have on the board. So the value of s is plus or minus 1 over 3. I hope you understood it and you enjoyed the lesson as well. Please don't forget to like the video and also share the video as well. I'll see you in another video whilst we solve more examples on this. Bye bye.